Okay, folks, get everything into position here. All right. Tilt this a little bit, and let's tilt that up a little bit. See if we get the jitters in this. All right. We're back with the palm trees. All right, and we did end up doing some work off camera yesterday. Which is very unusual. It's very unusual I'd be motivated to do any of this without accompaniment. But it happened. So we ended up dry brushing a lot of these. Not all of them, but most of them. And then we ran out of time. What's this thing go to? It's been dry brush. That's really odd. We'll come across what the reason is here. All right, so we're going to let me sit these guys off to the side because we're going to have to prime the tufts of these. These are bright ass green. We did wash one, and it looks better. I think should probably try painting that one first and just see how we get on with it. I think I dry brushed these. Maybe I didn't. No, maybe I didn't. Okay, well, let's set these off to the side because these are definitely the brighter ones here. That we need to see how this one works out before we go on and do any others. Okay, we'll put the finished plants here. Okay. Yeah, this is the one that we ended up adding the wash to. Just on the actual fronds. And these turned out great. That definitely muted them. Okay. So let's get all of our usual suspects here. I got a lot of other colors I could use, but these seem to be working pretty well. It's kind of a bright color anyway, so using some of these are a little bit more muted. Seems like the right way to go. Oh, we got this thing washed? Yeah, we'll use this one. Yeah, I'm a little out of sorts this morning. I'm tired. I didn't sleep enough. Already got the Sunday blues. I think I got the Sunday blues before I even left the office on Friday. All right, let's do one of these more traditional ones here. This might be a little too big, but I don't think so. thing I'm the worst at is I'll grab something from somewhere else and I won't put it back. The next thing you know, you wondered, why am I here being encroached in a corner of my desk here? There's no point in being super precise with this because it's doubtful whether this is going to stay on the palm tree very well. So I hate to put a whole lot of work into something and then it be wasted, but I don't think these are going to be handled very much. Certainly after they're on bases, they're not going to be handled that much. All right, there's one of that design. These are actually kind of pokey. And then we got some stuff that we picked up at the store that we'll show when you guys come in. Nothing great, but I did want to go pick up some lichen. I didn't pick up the lichen because the lichen that I wanted was the darker green color, and they were out of it. They had tons of the. It even told you what color it was on the back. It said chartreuse. It was a little bit bright. I could have gone on. I could have probably gotten along just fine with it, but I'd have to airbrush some of the lichen, and I'm like, I don't need to do that. And we're not putting on a game now, so the lichen can wait. It's not going to go on any of these stands. Just use them as filler. I just figured while I was already there, is I really want to get the cork. Cork is what I wanted to get to start kind of wrapping my head around how to do these mini palm dioramas, so to speak. It's kind of what they're going to be. All right, there's that one. Okay, where's another one of these little stumpy guys? Here we go. We want a little one this time. Okay. I was actually looking at some pictures online. I was surprised a lot of people don't even paint these. I'm like, okay, well, you can do a lot better than that. I mean, you can definitely paint these up, and it makes a big difference. Tony's tabletop tropical tree training time. Sounds like I can't make it to the bathroom with the training time part. Oh, Jeff, are you going to be on here for a while? Because I got some stuff to show you that might interest you. I picked up at the store. Oh yeah, It's my quest for, making these games look as good as the stuff that you see in magazines. And maybe that's not important for everybody, but man, that's the stuff that gets me like going. I look at games that you go to a convention and you see these games being played on. I don't want to look at that for 4 hours. I don't want to look at that setup for 4 hours. Now, it might be that they set up some of these things for photos, and they don't really play on something that looks like that. But you're trying to make it look like that, so I fell for it. Well, I went to the Hobby Lobby, and they happened to have the airbrushes that I ended up getting for half what I paid for it. Now, I had heard rumors of discontinuing the Iwata airbrushes, no doubt to do to bring shittier brands. I mean, the Iwata stuff is good, but maybe they don't sell. They also have those airbrushes where it's like they'll work on like on canned air and they're battery operated. I'm like, yeah, that's no good, man. Just buy the right thing once, you know. And I totally understand people not wanting to buy an airbrush that's not in their budget and they don't need it. And the reality is I wouldn't even have an airbrush if Rust-Oleum had not bought testers. I would have been perfectly fine just plugging along with the stuff that I've been using for decades, right? I'm not looking for reasons to buy a $300 airbrush setup. That's about what it was, which, is pretty reasonable between the air compressor and the airbrush. If you're going to buy one of those things, the sooner you buy it, the more you get to use it. There's no point in buying that when you're, 80 years old, to use an extreme example. So yeah, $75 for that thing? That's a steal. I, you know, I even considered buying a second one. That would have been stupid, but now, in one of the airbrush groups that I'm a member of, some people will have like, okay, here's my collection of 12 air. I'm like, why do you have 12 airbrushes? You plan on like dropping them, throwing them at people or something? You losing them? I figured that would be a problem. You have like a bunch of different airbrushes and then you get confused. Like, oh, this is the cord that goes with the other one, or the hose that, no, like, no, I got to keep it simple. Built a first to fight PZ35 yesterday, left the right light and horn off the kit. It's a gaming piece. They have, I'm not a big fan of their stuff. They're like Dragon. They're like Dragon, but with tracks that are already made. I think their barrels are a little too delicate. Their instructions are like, let me cram 70 pieces in this one drawing that's this big. And when I have trouble seeing stuff that it's too small to see on the instructions, it's too small. Is I'll pull my contacts out and I'll see things that haven't even been put on there yet. And still, I struggled looking at that Czech 38. I don't think they're a good price value wise. They're relatively expensive. I've never gotten one that comes with a magazine. I don't really want a magazine that's written in Polish. I'm not going to learn Polish anytime. Not in this lifetime. Hey, I'm not going to learn French either, so, it's like nothing against the Poles, but I'm American. We're still trying to master the English language. Why is this thing wanting to fall over? You top-heavy bastard. Oh, this one's got the little dendrils. Tendrils. I don't know what a dendril is. Hopefully it wasn't something inappropriate. I actually never finished mine. I actually never finished my Command Panzer 38. That antenna that goes around it's too delicate. Something happened. Like, I don't think it broke. Like, I stopped before I got to it. Now, Plastic Soldier Company is the way to go for me. Now, they don't do everything perfect. They got some Panzer the Panzer threes are weird. They got the dimensions on the roof are they're just off. The angle's wrong or something. Good morning, Marcus. All right, well, now we can do show and tell. Now that Marcus is here, there's no point in taking a look at something that I'm going to have to take a look again because you're not here. Okay, let me put this thing away and I'll show you what I picked up at Hobby Lobby. By the way, their Iwatas. I heard they were discontinuing carrying Iwata. Their Iwata airbrushes were half off. So my $149 airbrush is $73.99 or whatever the hell it is. That's a good price. Okay. Disregard this eyesore, and actually I'm going to put something on top of this so that I don't carry it away. But I went to Hobby Lobby because I wanted to get cork. So this is what I found. They had bigger sheets too, like, that was probably, again, as big. And this was like $4 for these tiles. So I think this is what I'm going to use. I don't have contact cement, so I'm probably going to use hot glue gun if I step it up. But look, it's on schedule. Okay, so we picked up, that's what we went for. And then while we were in Rome, I picked up some things that I may not do anything with, but they definitely looked usable. First thing I came across is this thing. And I came across this thing because these little pieces had fallen off. So there's actually, I had seen these things on eBay where they had, no, it was somebody's article that was about these small plants that you just pull them off. And I don't know if this is the same sort of thing, but this is all made up. There's like an armature in here. And then inside this armature, there's these little things that come off as individual little sprigs. And I think, after seeing how well this turned out, and it really did. I mean, even the red one isn't bad. And I haven't dry brushed it yet. I don't know what the hell this is. It's made in China. Yeah, whatever. What is this considered? Cancer and reproductive harm. Well, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to put it on my reproductive parts. I'm not going to make out with it. This is all like, it's got all these little sprigs that are like this. I think if you take these individual sprigs, this can go with some other kind of plant. Definitely if you're doing alien shit. This definitely looks like an alien type plant. So I think if we wash that, dry brush it. Yeah, it's very, very soft. It's rubbery and almost like soft in a way. It's weird. I think that if we can use that as another type of plant, along with, the all kinds of tufts that I've never used. Okay, because I've got some tufts here that I've never used that I specifically got for the Pacific Theater. Like this thing. Spiky green. Stuff. So I'm going to look at, there was a bunch of these just on the ground. And I thought about just grabbing one and then trying it out. But I'm like, nah, I'll get this thing. Maybe this will be like the best thing ever. And if not, I'll return it. Yeah, this ties in like this. So anyways, this could be another little plant, but these turned out really well. Okay. What else did we get? And then I just started really looking around. I had some time to kill. A little bit of time to kill. This stuff right here. This is $5.99, and it has some leaf type things, and it looks like it already has some kind of a wash. So what I would think about this is do this almost like bamboo. You know, obviously not the whole damn thing, but like like the individual sprig, you know, snip it down here and make it on some kind of a base with them all with each other. I don't know. It's got a leaf here. The leaf doesn't look too large. There's a lot of stuff that's like, that won't work, that won't work, that won't work. But this looked like it has some potential. It's definitely bamboo looking. And you can get a lot of stuff out of this thing, so I may end up returning it. And then the other one, this one actually looks really cool. This definitely looks very Asian. Oh, this one was $9. Oh, okay, well, we need to return this one if we're not going to use it, for sure. You know, it has these little, like, these sprigs that look very Asian-like. And same thing. It smells like Hobby Lobby. And same thing. It's you know, cut these individuals, stick them in some group of things. So, anyways, I was looking around and like, all right, well, if I have to return any of this stuff, I'll just return all of it. But anyways, I picked that up. Nothing terribly exciting, but trying to make the jungle interesting, you know. I also picked up a set each version of FT-17 by Armor Fast made it. FT-17. Are they out of business? Am I doing mixed herbs? I'm not planning on it. I'm not. That just sounds like something that would just stain like a mofo. You know, I don't really want. I don't really want my terrain to smell like Italian seasoning either. You know. Herbs, as you guys call them. Herbage. FT-17? Armor Fast makes an FT-17? Are you saying first to fight? I had an FT-17 that I gave to somebody because I came to realize, oh, it's actually 15 millimeter. It's like, man, you'd have to have a really small contortionist. You'd have to have a Tattoo as the driver.
Don't stick me in the tank again, man.
Or however he talks. Did the MG and Canon versions. Stingy bastard! You stingy bastard! You can't call them stingy bastards. All the stingy people will get upset, up in arms. Oh, hot. Okay, I totally see how that I got it. Yeah, because hot ended up taking up some of hat. I don't know. Took some of the Armor Fast stuff. Anybody have that wagon that they used to make? Wasn't it like a German wagon or something? A German field kitchen or something? That worth a damn? There's something people don't build. A wagon. Horse-drawn transport. Come on, let's go. Stingy bastard. I can't wait any longer. I gotta see what this looks like. You liked it? Is it super bouncy plastic, or has it got some hardness to it? You know what I mean by that. I mean the plastic super bouncy. You know what I mean. I think this will work. That's funny. You got the org memory one, and by far it's it's got some interesting stuff. I mean, these are interesting, but it's the only one that has that bright ass green fronds. Which, they'll end up working whatever I do. It'll just victory is not as apparent with that one. I looked at the free Winter War scenario on skirmish supplies, and I could not for the life of me find decent in production metal 20mm fins for it. I'd probably use, if you want metal figures, but those Airfix German mountain troops. I mean, those guys look like fins to me. Oh, their pockets aren't the same on their uniforms. All right. Pocket nerd. I'm surprised because the fins are pretty pop. The fins are pretty popular. I've never been into fin stuff, but the other swastika faction. That was from Yorkshire Gamer made some post or whatever I saw this morning. That was about they hated the term factions. Well, I don't like the term factions either, but that's not even close to the top of my. I got a bigger problem with grenades where you can't get more than one figure in the blast radius. The range on the grenades are so compressed. Compressed ranged hand grenades. That's a big gripe for me. So I actually did some of this stuff, Ben. I did this off camera, and it's your fault. And the reason it's your fault is I decided to watch that Featherstone video, which is the definition of grainy. But I could hear him relatively well. He's got a good, accent. He didn't pronunciate anything and too weird that us basic Americans couldn't figure out. I was trying to figure out what year he was at. That was. But considering he passed away in 2013, I went to Historicon every year since 2006. I don't think he was there when I went. Of course, to be fair, I'm not sure I would have known who he was. Because I was just there for DBA stuff. Now, the first year I went, they had a Midnight Madness, and the Midnight Madness had like 32 players. And the last time I went to Historicon, I couldn't even get anybody to show up to play DBA other than our group. So I'm like, okay, well, that's done. And it's not like the competing rule set had that many people playing it. Actually, Art de la Guerre had a lot of people that year. Who knows if people are even playing it now? We had Art de la Guerre that showed up out of nowhere at our convention. People all of a sudden jumped ship to play that. And the next convention they had, nobody was there to play it. So, people are just damn nomadic. I think the comments said it would be sometime between 93 and 98. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't going to conventions at all during that time period. Well, I went to one in 90. I went to one in 96 and had such a bad experience that I didn't go back to another one until 2001. It wasn't that bad of an experience. It just didn't make me want to go back to conventions. I put on a game, some rando was playing with my ships, and he was ham-fisting them. Some rando. I've heard that term a lot in the last couple weeks, so now it's stuck. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have had the money to go to Historicon during that period. That's some of those were poor years for me. 98 wasn't. 97 wasn't too bad, but the previous ones, 93, 94, 95, those are poor years for me. The ultimate power move, would it be? I've seen these people, man. People don't wash their hands as often as I do. I don't want to lick other people's stuff. You know? Besides, my spit's not that toxic, so, maybe you've had like really toxic spit. Maybe if it was like brown or something, maybe that would be a bigger power move, but, you know. Might turn some people on. I don't want to. I don't want to go there. Like go to some show and it's like somebody might want Mitch to walk all over him or something. I don't know. All that summer hose water hardens the immune system. Yeah, I'm not. I don't ever worry about getting a disease. I'm worried about getting the symptoms, failing the morale check. Like that kid like those people that go into public restrooms and don't wash your fucking hands. Man, even if your dick is like the cleanest thing on the planet, you're going to a place that has a lot of freaking nasty ass germs, man. Yeah, the worst thing about drinking out of a hose is, you got to make sure you don't like There's critters that crawl up that hose, while it's off. You got to make sure you get all those things out. I actually went to the doctor one time, and I think it was a PA that was telling me like, oh yeah, you should just when you eat an apple, you should actually rub it in the dirt. That way you get some of those. Like you pick up an apple instead of washing it, just go rub it in the dirt, so you can get some of those defense mechanisms. I'm like, okay, that's pretty fucking extreme. You're not buying fruit for me now, lady. The sink should be outside the doors to the restroom because those doors have to be a disaster. Absolutely. A special kind of disaster. Well, they do have sinks inside those, but that's for like the handicap bathrooms. Having a hard time waking up today, folks. Stayed up too late. Playing Mexican dominoes with the mom and brother. They're night owls, so I'm like, man, I gotta leave. I'm like, I want to leave, and I gotta get on the highway and go up one exit, But I don't like traveling at night. I don't like traveling at run into a recap or something like that. A road alligator. You guys have those in Europe? Recaps? They're probably illegal. They should be. They should be illegal here, but I think whoever's making them is probably gives really good BJs to politicians. Of all the things that they want to ban, that'd be a perfect. That'd be like one of the first things I'd ban. And that's when you save a truck tire, you save the casing, and just basically put another tread that's put on it. Well, what happens is it gets really hot, and those things get slung out, and you hit this solid piece of rubber going 80 miles an hour. I'm sorry, 120 kilometers per hour. And cause all kinds of issues. Road alligator. I think this will work. I think this will work. Yeah, I don't like going to public restrooms, especially like at like the Turnpike Plaza. I can just tell you, I'm only gonna have to do number two in a public thing if it's like I'm gonna wear it. My body just doesn't need to. I can't unclench enough to be comfortable in that kind of setting. Anytime you go to one of those, man, it's like a disaster. It's like, man, somebody's way too comfortable here. Depending on how long we go on with this, I we're probably gonna have lawnmower sounds. There's a lawnmower guy was supposed to come yesterday, but he got overheated, so it's time to spray some stuff, I'm going to take the little Buddha guy out there. We did add some. The girls had some a UV thing. That's what people recommended. Yeah, this is hard now, but although it's still misshapen here, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't push that down or anything. It looks pretty good. Something wrong with his earlobes. He's got droopy earlobes. He's been wearing them those long dangly earrings that are really heavy. Is that like a is that a like a is it like a stylistic choice that they do that, or is it like where is it, in France, that they say people that have like a gap in their teeth is like attractive? I'm like, no. Like Buddhas with droopy earlobes. Oh, sexy. Oh, the top of this is weird. It's like flat looking. Okay, well, this one didn't grow the same. Let's do the bottom first. Let's go visit the Buddha and tug on his ear for good luck. Go get some tea. Make sure I don't have any wetness on it. I don't know if that adds more friction or something to to the trunk. But the trunk's looking pretty good on this thing. Wish I had wish there were affordable little banana plants. The only ones I've been able to find are the ones by Pegasus. And I looked at somebody's review of it and I wasn't impressed with them. They're expensive and they're really, really, really brittle. But a shitload of banana plants would certainly be handy. What's going on here? It's like, I can't see through this. If I do anything on the computer, I realize that I can't use my glasses. I have such a hard time with those damn progressives. I'm not used to looking at something and tilting your head back or what have you. I'm not going to reinvent how I'm going to look at things. I'm doing it a certain way for over 50 years. Look like big eyelashes. Big green eye. Don't look at me with those big green eyelashes. Yeah, so I watched probably half of that talk. So need to watch the other half, but it's funny, the picture quality was so poor the guy had recorded that it wasn't distracting to have to look at it. Because there's nothing worth looking at. Okay, I haven't done the end of the palms like this, but I'm going to because this looks pretty good. This fan palm type thing. I did watch a video by, what's that guy's name? Luke? The guy with the big open earlobes. Luke, whatever his name is. He's making a bunch of trees that were like indestructible. That was pretty impressive. And the next thing you know, I'm looking for seafoam. Like, I didn't buy anything, but it's like, I noticed that a lot of people don't paint the trunks on trees. Like they'll have this tree, and like I think he was like making use like those armatures or whatever. And I think that's the route I'm going to go whenever I do the other plants, is probably buy some of those woodland scenics armatures. But my initial reaction is dry brush them like this first before you add stuff to it. Take the armature. It doesn't take any time to dry brush, like 2 colors on it, and seal it, and then put the stuff on it that you're going to put the foliage on. But lots of people were using that clump foliage, and I have some of it that I got. I think I have some of it that I got. And that was what I was thinking. They didn't have the lichen that I wanted. I'm like, I've got dark green lichen somewhere. Not a lot, but I'd gotten some to use for, woods for DBA, so it's not like it's that old. I just kind of wanted to see how all this stuff put together would look like before I go and buy a whole bag of lichen. Okay, that looks pretty decent. What the hell did I do with this other one? There's a couple of other ones. Oh, there's more than a couple of other ones. Let's take a look at this big boy. All right, let's enhance this thing. And having had palms like this at the house, they look like this. They're not a uniform color. They look like they're painted poorly. I was subscribed to his channel a long time ago, and then I just unsubscribed. I don't know what it was about it. Maybe a lot of his takes weren't really. I don't know, because he does some pretty decent work. That's why it's too confusing. Okay, my name's so and so, but my channel isn't called my name. It's called something totally different. It's hard to kind of figure stuff out or remember, like, who was it that had that? The channel that did such and such? There we go. This is starting to. Yeah, I watched some videos yesterday. I realized that my computer's set up over in this room with the laptop on the table, with the table that I can adjust to whatever height I want. It's really comfortable for watching videos. Okay, that's much better. I'm going to include this one in this. Let's see these little fan guys. I think they're all here, are they? I think so. I'm gonna leave these alone. Like they are. I'm gonna leave those alone how they are. All right. Now I'm going to jump to these and pull out the yellow and do the ends. That's looking pretty damn good. That's looking pretty damn good. I'm gonna actually go back and touch the other ones up. Like I said, if I seal this, I don't really know how durable this is going to be with the flex. But if some of it flexes off, it doesn't matter. Not enough of it's going to come off that, really that much of an issue. That looks pretty damn good. That looks pretty damn good. We'll call this one. We're going to call that one done. I mean, I could spend a lot of time painting these, but we do need to do hundreds. So. I'm not even using a color that's that bright. Hell, it's camel. That looks pretty damn good. I'm gonna put these far apart from each other where I can. Don't break on me. We can spray them right on there. And since it's acrylic, you don't have to worry about your spray eating up the styrofoam. All right. Avocado refrigerator. That's what this one should be called. Rotary phone green. Okay, these have those little dendrils. I'm having a really hard time staying awake. I think a nap might be in order today, but man, it can't be very long. So that's cutting into my sad Sunday routine. Sunday blues routine. Be right back. So I was already getting the Sunday blues before I left the office on Friday. Let me get this salad that I have over here done. This is the rest of my palms and plants and stuff. They should be relatively dry by now. Okay, even though so we have one set, I don't remember which ones they are, just the standard looking, all the palms are this style. Which, if I had to pick one palm, this is the one I would go with. All this style palm. These are actually the coconut trees, coconut palms. The other ones don't have coconuts. So they've all been washed. Girls come back. What kind of a freaking plastic salad are you making out here? That's what I use the kitchen for. Is to wash plastic plants. And these just seem like they're a lot bendier than the other ones. The same color plastic though, which is good because whoever picked these colors was, I'm real happy with the choice here. All right, well, this is all done. And then these plastic plants. I'm not returning any of the stuff that I got from Amazon. Because these little guys, after I washed them, where the hell they went? Anyways, the color on these was great. I like it when things turn out better than you expect them to. Like, yeah, I might be able to make it work. I'm like, not only am I going to be able to make it work, it's going to look great. All right, coffee's done. Let's see if this wakes up or I'm going to have to go take a nap. Where did they go? They're here somewhere. Good God, man. Well, wherever they are, they'll turn out. They're on a little piece of styrofoam. And I still haven't based my my Hitler Youth guys. I mean, I based them. I just still haven't put the little tufts and stuff on them. Oh well. That bugs me. Like, where the fuck did it go? Like, I know. I gotta stop looking for it to show up. I know. I wrote the book on that. Well, what I'd like to do is get these guys all, to where I can take them to the garage, spray the little Buddha dude. Hey, I might as well put this on here. The Jungle Hoose. I actually had a good trip to Hobby Lobby. I wasn't really on a time crunch. And I was just trying to use things for purposes they were not intended. Like, what's this dude looking around like all the flowers and stuff like that? I'm like, I'm an artist. An artist is not paying attention because I'm supposed to use this color. Oh, shit. You know, and now when I'm putting this second color on top of this that has color on it, it's applying a lot better. It's not as watery. Totally mindless here. I wonder what the final palm count's going to be. It's got to be over 100. It's got to be over 100. I just don't see these Japanese tanks being very effective. You know, something like a Hago, you know, it's almost like, you know, screw it. Turn the turret 100, well, not 180 degrees, but 135 degrees around. Just use a machine gun. have these little. Okay. Short highway morning for me. Might be back in the evening. Have a good day. I will probably not be back in the evening. Um, I, I have an appointment today with someone, and I don't know what time it was. I really wanted to get with them yesterday, but they were busy. Said around lunchtime, so I need to be awake for that. Woo! Woo! What's in here? Oh, geez, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Oh, okay, these are some different rocks that I have. Okay, well maybe I'll use some of these on the palm tree stands. I don't know who the hell I got these from. Got to be Mitch or Joe or Marty. It's got to be one of those. Got to be one of those three guys. What's it a prescription for? Maybe I'll be able to tell who it's from. It's probably not Mitch. Probably not Mitch. Oh. Damn, I'm sleepy. I guess it was if I was more stressed out, I'd probably be less sleepy. The girls will be back today. I don't know what time they're going to be here. But I'd imagine probably somewhere around it. Traffic on I-75 has just been terrible. It took them like 5 hours to get somewhere that takes 2 hours to get to on Friday. Too many people in this penis-shaped state now. Yeah, I got home too late last night. I'm not used to going to bed close to midnight. Yeah, I'm actually really surprised how many people. Well, I don't really know. I haven't really taken a poll, but I'm really surprised how many. Apparent, there must be some money in it. People like that spend real money to play a game that you could just earn stuff. Because all you have to do is play one of those games. It's like that gives you, sign in every day for free stuff. You get a crate or something, whatever it is that you get, and then you open it, and it's like, yeah, you have a chance of getting this and a chance of getting something else, but most of the time you're not going to get any of that stuff. You're going to get worthless shit. So I'm like, why am I going to spend more money on when your odds of getting something worthwhile are like nil? But I guess some people are addicted to gambling. I'm not. The gambling doesn't work on me. Gambling doesn't work on me, but I need to do a little bit of grinding today so we can get Scharnhorst. That game is really nice. It's really nice to look at. I played those realistic ship games for of the miniature games for so long that all the fake stuff that you learn and that you supposedly learn in those games doesn't really work on me. But they have these guys. Oh, yeah. You're supposed to take your ship and not go broadside to somebody else. I'm like, okay, well that's freaking illogical. So what you're saying is Nelson did exactly what he wasn't supposed to do. Got it. So Don is like, oh, you got to play Naval War Thunder or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I've tried. I don't like that interface. The interface just, I'm at odds with the interface. Like I can't find anything. It's too much noise, and suppose they're gonna hopefully walk me through it. I haven't played it a lot, and whatever my rating is, it's 7, and his. I had him as a friend yesterday, and he's like 274 or something like that. So he's got like, but he spent like real money on the game. Like, I don't spend real money on the game. Oh, I'm probably gonna go in with. I want to see if I can start a game of enlisted, and not invite people somehow, so I could go around it and take some photographs, because there's a lot of Asian inspiration for there. Well, they have other venues as well, but they've got these Asian locales that, to be honest with you, I'm completely dismissive of stuff in Asia. I'm like, I don't want to play fucking Japanese American. That's boring. My whole life, I've had that attitude. Now I'm trying to change it around, because I'm like, okay, well, this is an opportunity to learn something new. I was playing this one like game like in Thailand, and I'm like in this freaking city, and it was pretty interesting. It's got like some ancient walls and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to the Buddha statue, because I think it'll turn out well, and since it's not mine, I can take. Well, it's probably not fair to call it risks. It makes it sound like I'm not going to want to do a good job painting it, which is far from the case. But there's a little bit of freedom when you're painting something for somebody that doesn't paint. And you're like, man, I could pretty much make it look like anything, and it's going to look like the best thing ever. But I don't want to paint it just good enough. I want it to turn out well. So We're going to stop short of the pigeon droppings on it, but I think that little guy will turn out well. I hope it doesn't crack after we're done with it, but hey, I didn't 3D print it. Ben, I don't know if I've asked you this, but what's the worst game you've ever played on computer? If you give me an answer, I'll know whether I've asked you or not. Because there's some games I got way back when that never ran right on the computer. Like, I had a modern computer, they just never ran well. Whether it was a disassociation between the software company and the hardware compatibility, I don't know. But there's some games that I got never, ever, ever ran well. Across the Rhine is the first one I think of. It was a Microprose game that was a tank simulator in the mid 90s. Maybe even in the latter 90s. Never ran well. Panzer Elite never ran well. And you look at the back of the box and, hey, this thing looks awesome. And then you're like, dude, I can't even get this thing to load up properly. You know, I don't have a off-brand, I've never had an off-brand computer that was, I built myself and I cobbled together with a bunch of different pieces, so. No, like any kind of game. Like any kind of game that you're like, man, I freaking hate this game. But that you paid money for. Because that demo that I played of, what was it called? Watch Dogs? That's the worst game I've ever played in my entire life. I'd rather play Catan. I'd rather look at Catan. Catan might be a fine game. I hate the look of it. There's some games that I've gotten had high hopes for, and I just don't want to put the work into them. That whole Rome Total War 2. I don't want to put the work into it. Like, it's funny because I'm like, man, this political stuff's too complicated. And then I'm like, I don't want to play the battles. I've played the battles a million times in all the other Total War games. I played it very little. I played the Three Kingdoms Chinese one very, very little. None of those fall into that category. That what's that the Field of Glory Ancients, like the strategy game, looks really cool. Like you could basically like play strategy games, and then when you go in, you could fight the actual battles on the battlefield. But I'm like, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming how much stuff there is to do. Like I can fight the battles. I know what to do, and I'm pretty decent. I'm fairly decent at them. It's turn based, So like, I'll do a lot better in like Field of Glory than I would in like something that's real time. Because you got time to think about stuff. You're not rushed. Tabletop Simulator. That's got to be way up there. One of the worst things I've ever bought. That thing is hard to fucking use. Not user friendly. If it had been made by Blizzard or somebody, I would have been able to figure it out by now, but right, now we'll bring in the yellows and do these little tendrils or whatever we're calling them. And we're going to need some white out here. There's a game called Legends of WrestleMania. Well, I would just keep on scrolling with that. Unless it's like really hot lady wrestlers. No, I still wouldn't do it. Which blew every ape in the jungle. Not a bad thing. There's also another wrestling one called Showdown Legends of Wrestling that was released unfinished. Any of you guys ever play that U-boat simulator called The Boat or something like that? I know it's unfinished. And man, you would think somebody like me would have loved The Troop. You would have thought that, oh, that's Tony's game. I fucking hated that game. Or at least the demo. I hated the game of The Troop. And it was something as simple as like, you can throw grenades, but that's all you can do. So you literally like, you have to walk up to like a door and throw grenades and you just stand there while your turn comes around. Your guys get fucking killed. You know, you don't have enough teams. It's not like it's an individual guy where you have one guy throw the grenades in and then it blows up, everybody rushes in. No, it's like my whole team throws grenades and they just, all right, now what are we waiting for? I don't know, for our turn to come back again. You know, meanwhile they get hosed. So the scale of the game for The Troop is correct for me. But man, they really missed the ball on that one. Yeah, because it's like one level down from close combat. So like that's like perfect. Or about the same as close combat. It's a little bit. The fire teams are smaller. I'm like, that's Tony's scale. Slow. That second game I mentioned also slowed down as you played it. Apparently for like an hour and gave up. Apparently it can work on emulators, but I ain't putting in the effort. That sounds like it's one of those click fests. You know, like those fighting games. Man, those were popular in the arcade. Or that Olympic one. I never played these things. You know which ones I'm talking about. Has like 2 buttons. And the 2 buttons have like little protectors around your fingers. I don't know what for. But you went, actually had 3 buttons. You had the 2 running ones and then a jump. So if you were doing like a long jump, you would have people that would do this. You know? That's what I don't like games like that. That's like, that ain't a game. That's like, exercise. Not a fan of that. I had a friend of mine who's really liked Empire. That old game Empire. It was fun for a while until it was like too easy. He didn't care. He wanted to play games that were easy. I'm like, that's too fucking easy, man. Like, I don't want to be tortured, but I do like to think about things. I think that looks pretty decent. Let me put this somewhere. Let's get kind of close, but not too close, so we can spray in between them. Yeah, I have some games like that. Of just they just whatchamacallit was that way. Hidden and Dangerous. Hidden and Dangerous was that way. Hidden and Dangerous never ran well. Never ran well. You go in and you try to aim, and you're like, oh, okay, I need to move over just a tiny little bit. And it's with a mouse, man. And I'm like, I got decent mouse skills. I aim a little bit over, and like you overshoot the guy. And then let me move it back, and you overshoot the guy again. It's just all wonkish. I was in the used bookstore, and they actually had, under the gaming area, they had a a how-to guide of Hidden and Dangerous 2. And I don't remember whether I had Hidden and Dangerous 2 or not. I want to say I did, and I didn't play it much or if at all because it didn't work at all on my computer. The first one did, and I struggled with it, and I think I finished the game of the first one, but I don't think I ever played the second one. So I'm looking at the game guide, which was relatively cheap. I actually thought about picking it up just because it might be cool to have some scenarios, right? Because it's, I mean, really small scale stuff, right? And it was like $3 or something. I could use the store credit. It's the place where I got a credit. I still got like $35 worth of credit and nothing there to buy. But they have a game guide for it, and I'm looking through the scenarios, and I'm like, none of this is ringing a bell. So I don't think the Hidden and Dangerous 2 worked for me. But I looked at some of the graphics, and I'm like, oh, this looks really, really, really Minecrafty. I'm not. Now, for games which I thought might not be worth it, but absolutely are, Kenshi. I don't know what that is. Kenshi game. 10 out of 10 Steam. Single player, open world, squad based RPG with real time, brutal, unforgiving world, emphasis on player freedom rather than a linear narrative. Players can choose to be anything from a traitor, a thief, to a warlord, or even a slave. Yes, I want to play a slave. With the goal of survival and building. What was that survival game? Like 100 Ways to Die or 7 Days to Live or something like that. I started playing some of that and I'm like, this is too fucking. I don't want to like. Okay, let me collect like all these fucking plants to make this other plant. Do you have to do to get other plants to get something else to make a stick for the hatchet? I'm like, that's exhausting, man. Like Kenshi. Let's look at some screenshots. This looks like what's that Star Wars game that I never played? There was a Star Wars game where you basically was open world. I never played it. It was a popular game. I don't know. Some open world stuff clicks for me, and sometimes it doesn't. Too much of that open world stuff is really geared around monetization. So if you end up having a game that has a lot of monetization stuff in it, and I don't want to play the monetization stuff, there's no way to turn it off. Like you're constantly being bombarded, and then it's like it's hard to figure out what I can and can't do, or what's available to me and what isn't available to me. Like I don't want to. If a game is available to play free, I don't want to pay for it because I'll get tired of it before I've ever spent a cent. And if you pay for it, then you feel bad, you know. But a lot of those like free games, like that are open world. What's that one that's the one everybody loves but me? Oblivion. One of the Oblivion games. It just has it's just thrown together like that. There's like a DC game like where you can make up your own superhero or something like that, and you have like you're in like the city, and it's just like buildings and buildings and buildings and buildings that all look like vaguely similar, and you can't go into them and stuff, and it's just stuff thrown there. I mean, some superhero that had like, of course, he had guns. Why am I not going to have a superhero that doesn't have guns? You know, that was fun for a little while. And some of them just don't click. They've got one that's like a Star Trek game. All right, yeah, I played it. I'm like, okay, this is boring. You know, and then some open world things are pretty decent. I mean, I played World of Warcraft a long time ago, for about a year and a half, maybe a year. It clicked with me. You know, the interface and everything else just, you know, was all right. And then after a while, it's like, you know, I don't like games where you have to link up with other people. That was the first game that had a thing called a tank, where a warrior basically that he's there to absorb damage, not deal it out. I'm like, this is kind of weird. I've never played a game that had that kind of a type thing. City of Heroes, City of Villains was old superhero MMOs. Never played them. Yeah, Skyrim. Now that was a game as wide as an ocean and as shallow as a puddle. The Old Republic. Yeah, yeah, that one. Yep. Never played it. I mean, I didn't try to avoid it. It came out at a time when I think I was between computers because I totally would have played that kind of a game. You know, I don't hate Star Wars. I hate the new woke Star Wars. You know, but the old stuff, yeah, it's cool. You know, City of Heroes, City of Villains, old superheroes, yeah, that's played it on the console for a little bit. And that's what I hate about Oblivion or the games. It's like this town, like cool. Let me explore the town, and like every building is the same, and you walk in and everybody like faces you. It's flat, you know. It's really really flat, and it's kind of hard to find really the perfect thing. You know, there's some games that do things pretty well. Like, what's the D&D one? That I played it actually quite a bit. I haven't played it in a while, but I played it quite a bit. Whichever one, the new Baldur's Gate. It takes so long to play because of the spells and shit. And okay, I think I got something for this, and the players are and the characters are just not well balanced at all. And I don't like that. Like, it has no replay value whatsoever. It's just like, okay, there's 8 characters you can get, but you only have like 4 of them at once. So you have to decide which 3 you're not going to have, and the plot is garbage. At least my character is hot, so she's not mine. I don't mind looking at her, but you know, it's like it's a game where you're like, okay, let me be careful, and even being careful, you like get killed immediately. I'm like, it's just too hard. It's just way too hard. Yeah, I haven't played Diablo in a while. The newest one, whichever one it is. Is it 5, 4? I don't even know where the hell we're at anymore. 4, I think. That's one of those games that, I haven't played it in a year. Yeah, but I put in hundreds of hours into it. So it's like, okay. And then there's games that are just still great. State of Decay, man. State of Decay is fucking awesome. I love State of Decay. State of Decay is so good. Except for that one gameplay mode where you're like defending this base against attackers. I can't. I've tried playing that probably 25 times with different people. I've never won all the way through. I'm like, I'm not doing that gameplay anymore. But other than that, it's a great fucking game. Great game. I hope they make the third one. You know? Where are we? Oh, we're doing these tendrils. I remember playing a demo of like Hearts of Iron or something like that. I'm like, this is not my kind of game. And I really don't like the interaction that they have like for Europa Universalis, which is a shame because I really like the venue for that. But that whole any of those games where it's like it's real time, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna move this guy from this zone to this one, and you have this line, and it's almost getting full, and you're like, oh man, let me just get the guy over there to fight. And when you fight, there's like no decisions you can make. It's like all completely on autopilot, right? And as just before you get almost all the way 97.3% of the way all the way to the objective, somebody attacks your home thing and you go all the way back. I'm like, well, if I wasn't going to make it, just I don't like being teased like that. You know. That medieval armored fighting tournament thing is on today. Viewing for the stream is sorted. Gotta walk the four-legged one now, though. Medieval armored fighting tournament thing is on. Yeah, that's hard, man. And I don't suck at video games. I mean, I'm not the world's best person, but I'm certainly not the. I'd like to think that I'm closer to the top than the bottom. There's terrible players out there, but that's hard, man. That is one of the hardest games I've played. I did like looking for those gold things, though. Butthurt International World Championships. What kind of dog is your four-legged one? I know it's a mix. Everybody has a mix. Yeah, what kind of a mix is it? What would be a terrible mix for a dog? Dachshund and an Eskimo. I don't know. Can all dogs mix? Like, can you mix like a Great Dane and a Pomeranian? A Chihuahua, the smallest dog and the largest one. Miniature pincher and a regular pincher. What do you get? A pincher and a half? A Jack Russell. I knew somebody who had Jack Russell puppies, like 6 of them, and they're adorable. They're absolutely adorable. They're like these little bears, like these cute little bears. I mean, I don't have any pets, but as I've gotten older, I appreciate dogs more. But I appreciate dogs that understand that, you're the master. Oh, I've always wanted to be a master. No, and that they're the dog, not a dog that wants to run everything. Like they're a side character. That doesn't mean you shouldn't take care of them or love them or anything like that. I'm just saying that like cats want to be the main. Cats want to be the main thing, and it's like, dude, you're like a freaking cat. Jack Russell. What's the Jack Russell's name? And why is it called the Jack Russell? Why is it called? Reverend John Jack Russell, English Reverend and avid fox hunter who developed a breed. How do you develop a breed? Maybe I don't want to know. That sounds a little too Dr. Mengele for me. He selectively bred terriers to create a line of dogs that suited for hunting foxes, both above and beyond ground. Oh, are they diggers? Yeah, the Jack Russell puppies are adorable. By the way, do you have a furry one or do you have a thin haired one? The ones I saw were thin haired. Actually, I look at the furry one. I'm like, you sure that's a Jack Russell? Somehow along the way, I found out that there was two kinds. Good wicket keeping breed and artist. You didn't name him. What? Get out of this city. That's like having a boat not giving it a name, which would be weird. Although I think it's weird that people give cars names. It would never occur to me to name a car. Now maybe if it had like guns or obviously if I used it in Gaslands or something like that. I am gonna paint some Gasland type vehicles, I think, at some point. Maybe not in the too distant future, just to frickin' do them. And I think that's definitely a game that if I go back to playing it, I'm gonna play it in my own way. I mean, the maneuver dice and everything is spot on. That plays really well, but just that game's got a lot of loopholes. A lot of loopholes. Loopholes that you could solve within your own gaming group. I mean, they're not massive, but I got that second version of the rules and never got to do the jumps and stuff, So like, well, here's the reality: is a lot of this terrain would work for that. So you can do gaslands in the freaking tropical gaslands or something. Do a bunch of low riding Mexican things. Órale, chingón. Any more of those dendril things? Dendrils? No. All right, I'm gonna go to the little boy's room. I'll be right back. I mean, someone else named him before he was with me. Oh, okay. He is smooth haired and smooth brained. Oh, poor guy. Oh, poor guy. Well, I don't have much of a use for dogs, other than it would get me out walking, which probably would be a good thing, but I never grew up with any. My daughter's dying to have one, but just go to somebody's house and enjoy their dog. I've lived with elderly grandmothers most of my growing up life, so there was always people that you had to take care of that would keep you from doing things. So I would like volunteer to have something like that at home that you have to take care of and things like that. You like, well, we can't leave because we got to take care of grandma or whatever. Who are gonna leave? So a dog is another one of those type things. Um, I don't like dogs that when you ignore them, like I go to somebody's house, right, and I'm not in a dog mood. Like I never mind petting a dog. I don't even mind if they sniff, or even if they lick a little bit, right? But if they want to jump on you and you're not interested in them jumping and they continually do that, I don't want to be around that animal. And I mean, that might be just the way that they're trained or somebody has lacked training them. But I had a run-in with somebody not a run-in, but there was somebody I would game with frequently, and they had this dog it was a large dog, and it was extremely hyper. And when I got there, it would be like trying to jump all over you for 15 minutes. And then every time you went to pee, and I always drink a lot of liquids, and I don't wear a diaper, so I got to go to the bathroom. I choose to go to the bathroom about at least once an hour, or more often than that. The dog would get wound up again. And I'm like, that was one of the biggest reasons why I don't game with that person anymore. And haven't since, well, before the millennia, actually. So it's been a long time, but it was extremely aggressive. I don't dislike dogs at all, but they need to know their place, So it's one thing if you get a dog, and then the dog's hyper because look, you wound the fucker up. But if you're like calm, not wanting to interact with him, and he wants to get all up in your business constantly, like I don't like that, And I'll admit, most dogs are not that way. Most dogs are chill, So, and I like the Benji dogs. You mean dogs that look like Benji? No. The dogs that you run around, you don't encounter them very often. That are just loose on the street, because they usually they're like unlike homeless people. They don't get in your shit. What's the difference between stray dogs and homeless people? Homeless people fuck with you for money. Stray dogs don't give a shit about you, right? They're just chill. You guys have homeless people in Britain, right? We got more of those people now than we've ever had. I knew somebody that felt bad for him, gave him his lunch. The guy didn't like the lunch and threw it away. Well, that'll teach you to be, helpful to people. Hope you starve, you bastard. So his name was Dob? I guess. Not a terrible name. Not a fan of furry dogs. And usually, the bigger the dog, the more chill they are. Like, they know they can shit bigger than you, and they can, kill you in your sleep if they can attack you in your sleep. So they don't have anything to prove, All right, how many did we do this color on this? We'll find out here in a moment. I don't think so. This impressionistic type painting, though, really is really pretty chill. Someone else named him before he was with me. Why'd they get rid of him? Or maybe you don't know. You picked him up in the. I'm not a dog person, but I see those sad little faces in a pound, and it gets to you. I get it. I'd go somewhere and enjoy somebody else's dog, though. We had a running / walking event a couple of years ago, and these people that we know had a small little dog. What was it? A pug. I think it was a pug. I actually liked that little pug. It was like a little dog that didn't have an attitude, and I took him on a leash and he made me run. I mean, he made me like jog and stuff, and he was like happy and shit like that. And it was in the woods, so I didn't have to pick any poop up or anything. Actually, I don't think I went to the bathroom, now that I think about it. But when I grew up, you didn't pick up poop after a dog. You also don't let the dog take a shit wherever the dog wanted to. Like, no, we're not taking a dump there. Like, let's go somewhere out of the way. Or, raccoons and stuff poop. You don't pick up that stuff either, It's like if you're going to spit your gum out of your mouth and you need to throw it out, you don't throw it out where people are going to be walking, Come on, dude. Let's add a little bit of yellow to this one. The pH is wrong on the ground or something for this one. Not only that, it's really bad. The pH is bad in this one. Oh, we got some ends of these that are just, they're not doing too well. Somebody's want to bounce back. You insolent palm tree. Insolent palm tree. We'll give that one special attention last. And then we're going to cut some cork next. Now, let's see how this ends up looking. Aha. I have my notifications on now, which is something new. Let's see, what did you send me? Oh, those look good, Jeffrey. They look really brittle. Are they? Yeah, that check 35 doesn't need any more detail than that. Check 35 is a super tank compared to the other things. I always like the look of the Check 35. I don't know what it is about it. Just the rivets are sexy. This one needs some of the trunk color. Needs some of the trunkage color. I love this material, by the way. This cardboard. Because some people probably do this same thing just on right on their desk. Oh, no, we can't do that. All right, now, that one just a spare. Let's take this off before this hits the ground and shatters. We want to be nice to this building that's no longer available. Now let's put the other glasses you can see some kind of a distance at. Yeah, we got a few. We got a few there. MGs are pretty fragile, yeah. Yeah, that's the problem with some of that stuff. It's just like they're thin and they're brittle. All right, let's lose this. Well, yeah, the other side is just fine. What about the other side of this one? Ah, yes. Whew. Ah, my mind's at ease now. All right. Let's clear this area. Because I'm going to do something that's going to take a little bit of drying time. Okay, let's take a pen over here. These colors are there. Let's move all the brushes. Move all your brushes. We could go here. This a big brush out there. All right, now we've eliminated some of this chaos. All right, so Let's get the cork tiles out here. Oh, here they are. I put the little bushes there. One of the most expensive products here. Oh, what's this, to attach the back? Well, we're not going to mount this on the wall. I don't have contact cement. I got this big garbage bag that's just hanging out here for. There's a tiny little wastebasket in here, and it gets filled in a moment. This is how I operate the best. Just jump in. Just jump in. All right, we got the basic shape. Now we'll start trimming this thing. Which glasses we have on. I didn't want to get the really big sheet. Does this lay pretty flat? It does. And here's the part where we make a mess. There we go. I want a place where it falls here, not on the ground. Not that I got shag carpet or anything. And the only thing about this is I got this flooring that's basically made of plastic. It's not thin or anything, it's thick, but it's plastic. Like you drop water on it, it doesn't do anything. However, it can be damaged by, all this weight that I have on the 4 spots on the chair. So it's got like a protective, one of those rolling desk mats that you would have like in a carpeted place. I probably should save that stuff. Didn't have much of a smell. I suspect this dulls out knives like a mofo. I figured this is probably the right size to start for the first one. And then realize, I want them smaller, I want them bigger. may actually find out that I prefer to use another material. I like the idea. I like that MDF stuff that I use, but I don't like the fact that I feel like I've got to cover it with paint or something. I don't like that at all. That's like another step that takes drying. I don't mind things take a while, but I want to keep the momentum moving. I'm not a fan of anything that's like, all right, when we got to wait 3 hours for it to do its thing. 3 hours or longer. I figured I got to work on this stuff if I wanted the ground covering the goop to dry on this thing. So we're just going to make one. We don't want the ends too thin. This is taking a long time. It shouldn't take this long to do this. Now, I don't know if gluing this with a hot glue gun is going to work. But you know what? A hot glue gun dries immediately. You can keep on moving. What happens if we do this? Is there any benefit? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I have thicker cork, but it's too thick, I think. I don't want the actual stand to be, the edges to be. I don't know where the hell my IKEA trivets are, but the IKEA trivets are they're probably that thick. They're probably 3 of them thick. So I'd have to do one hell of a slope up to the thing. All right, so we've got this. Let's put some rises in here. Shit, you mean I gotta cut this stuff again? I said, I do. Yes, I does. All right, let's fire up the hot glue gun and get it started. I should have bought one. Every time I pulled this out, I said the same thing. I should have bought a hot glue gun again. Again, so many years ago. That's good. That means I don't regret buying it. It's the opposite. I regret not buying it sooner. Oh, here's where my phone charger is. What a moron. Like, I wonder where the hell this thing is. Right here in front of my damn face. You and your damned face. It's the one I've always had. I'm gonna use the little boy's room. I'll be right back. Now, I think this is gonna turn out really well. I'm positive about it. And I don't think that, I feel like the plants that should go on here, the trees that should go on here, aren't the same as the regular woodland scenics trees. I think I should make my own. They need to be more full. Need to be more full, I think. How are we doing on this? Good? Well, I woke up a little bit. Now, matte medium, I don't know why the hell I have this. It might have been to like make a wash or something like that. But this is fucking expensive. It's like $13, so I'd like to use this. So I think this is what we're going to use to tie everything together. Because the guy went through a lot of effort, wanted to make sure that this thing rides really flat. I'm surprised. It sits so damn flat. All right, let's put that there, and hopefully we don't get any. In case I get some drippage, let's put something like that there. All right, let's add some. By the way, how's my vacuum cleaner? Is it fully charged? No, it's in limp dick mode. I'll be right back. And the problem is that the plug that I had here, there was something wrong with it. It doesn't have hardly any ass in it. So really should throw this away. This plug actually. Let me double check it again. Make sure. I don't think it works. Yeah. Bye bye. Hopefully there's enough juice to clean this area when I'm done with what I'm about to do. All right. Let's get one of these that I know we've sealed. Okay. I'm gonna make a high spot here, a high spot here, and a high spot here. Or maybe I could connect these two and then make, yeah, maybe something like that. We're gonna do one with the traditional shaped palms, those coconut palms first. Okay, so Man, this look really good if I was like making like something that was left of like a Hittite building or something like that. I don't think this is going to be a problem making it ununiform because all of this is going to be covered in something. I could just use these little pieces. All right, now the big thing is going to be how is this going to attach to that? Now, I'm not going to do a big slurry. Ooh, I like this side even better. Okay. I like, so we're going to just put a little bit here, 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 here. All right. Looks good to me. Okay. No, we don't. Yeah, let's add this. Hey, it's a puzzle piece. Now we got the side flat. No, that's not what we want. We want the opposite of that. We're not going to go higher than this. This is plenty high. Although I may put some of these pieces a little up here. We'll extend this out a little bit. This is what I like. It's glued and you can move forward with it. It's not like, well, we have to wait. It's not really in the mood to move forward. I was like, nope, we're moving forward. And the cool thing is we'll be able to use all this material. It's not like, oh, we'll just throw all this away. Like, no, we want to be thrifty if we can. It's stupid to be wasteful. So yeah, if I use one of these tiles for one set of palm trees, I'm okay with that. That's an all right percentage. What's up, Hoffman? Me? Oh, I'm doing great, man. I'm covered in palm trees. Making the world a tropical paradise. How are you doing, man? Yeah, I like using the hot glue gun. It's fun. As long as you're not burning yourself. Yeah, I got a shitload of palm trees. Yeah, a shitload of palm trees down here. These and these need to be sealed. But we're making a palm tree group. Now, let's get a guy and a penny. Even if these guys are Hitler Youth fuckers, they should work. I want to make sure there's some terrain that these guys can. This laying flat. I want some space where these guys are able to take on this. And they got some flowering plants here. I mean, this thing's pretty big, but this is as small as they get. Okay, I think we should be all right with that. It is a shitload of palm trees, and I still have more to do. The bamboo is what's going to take forever. Oh, and I still have some more palm trees here. So I probably have, I don't know, probably 40 more palm trees, maybe 50 more palm trees. You know, but hey, it's got to be a jungle. You know, it's not like... It's a freaking jungle, man! Don't be tipping over. Okay. Now, I kind of need to plan a little bit what I want here. So the question is how many actual palm trees I have. I'm not going to take these things off and put little spikes on them. Okay? I'm also not necessarily worried about they're going to end up going right to the bottom. So there is some thought that it might not be bad to put these on yet one more level higher. And then that way we can go through some of this stuff. I can actually drill through them and use this little thing. So that's probably not a bad idea. I'm going to go ahead and go to a drill bit that's large but not ridiculous. So let me go ahead and do that. This one's a little bit ridiculous. And that way we can test and see what this looks like before we jump in and realize it's not what we wanted. One of these drill bits should be fine. Yeah, something like this one. So, if I was to have, say, something like this, and it was hot glued down, and we do something like this, now it'll... It's not my first rodeo, folks! It's not my first rodeo. And having you guys around and my talking myself through stuff helps too. So I have even glued that thing down. Okay? And obviously this will have stuff that will sculpt on there. We can have some broken logs and things like that. I'm telling you, this is going to look fucking stellar. Okay? And a lot of it is other people's help. I mean, I see other things that people have done. I'm like, that looks pretty freaking cool. Let's do that. Or let's not do that. All right, we're going to put another one here. All right, so again, man, cork is awesome. And again, it should be about the same size. I don't want any of these edges being okay. I'm going to put it about there. Drill into it. Because I need to see how these guys are going to fit in place. Doesn't have to be super deep. I never realized that cork has a decent weight to it. Like, this is the right size bit because it still has some grippage. And I like what the guy said about not mixing types. It's true. You got one of these that grows up however the seedlings get here. Here's Tony's biology class. However the seedlings get here, a palm tree grows. And whatever the seedlings come here, these type of things are gonna, they're gonna happen in this area. Those two are exactly the same size. No. What's this one? This one a little bit smaller? It is. Okay. So we're gonna have this one here, and then maybe some smaller ones in the middle. Yeah, well, I got the idea from the other guy. I mean, I'm like, he's a silly Canadian, some Canadian came up with this idea. I think of flimsy too. I think of the edges getting like dinged up, but this one's even bent the right way, like out that way. Perfect. And I'm not opposed to. Get ready. I'm gonna say something really crazy. Buying more palm trees if I need to, but let's use what I have now. Oh, did we hit the bottom? We may have hit the bottom. It may have hit the bottom. Well, this one's a little on the long side anyways. Now, if I went and did something like this, that wouldn't actually look that bad. Having, one of these things not like the other. Now, this thing's pretty sharp. I wonder if I could just, well, we need a bigger base than this. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Now, we just did a repaint on one of these with these new style fronds. Yeah, we're going to repaint these too. How we did all the edges a little. And then down here we can have stuff like this little stuff here, which I have a shit ton of these. which is great because we're going to need them. All right, so everything looks, I'm pretty happy with everything right there. So, hot glue gun still plugged in? No, it's not. All right, let's fire the bitch back up. Bitch, fire your ass up! And the nice thing is, because they're on this little upright spot, right? I know where they go. So I'm just going to pull them out, and there'll be kind of a hole already there. And then I can remove them while we do the groundwork. Now, let's look at a person. Yeah, that's some pretty big palm trees. And it may be that I need some loose ones, you know, because this will be under the ground. We'll put one of those metal shims, and this will stand straight up here. You know, some lonesome one here. You know, you get cover bonus in here. You can actually get behind this palm tree and get a cover bonus for it. I may realize, okay, I want to buy all these extra ones that I have here, all these large ones. I may want to install these as loose ones. Because I don't want little loose ones like the little one. I'm like, all right, how's this thing doing? Oh, it's happening. All right, so we're going to go around that area. And it's going to have goop and stuff in there that helps hold all this together. All right, so we're going to go over here. You know, able to use the knowledge that other people have done trying this and then put my own spin on it. You know, what works for me. You know? With the tools that I have. You know, I didn't have contact cement. Okay? There's other things you can use. Huh. Fits in there really tight. I'm surprised, like pleasantly surprised. And let's get crazy. If I don't attach the palm trees permanently, I may want to use them for something else, and I don't have a problem. I initially thought like, okay, just lop them off at the bottom. Like I don't need the thing to plug it in. Yeah, I think 2 species is all right. You start getting more than that, and it just gets, you know, the chaos is. Now, this palm's kind of cool because it's got like a little bend within the bend. Now, we're going to goop all this up, all right? And I'm not going to start making a million of these things. At some point, I need to do the ends like I did this. I like the way that looks. All right, the goop part, unfortunately, takes a long time. But it's one of those things. Golden light molding paste. What the hell did we use this for? Oh, this is the snow. Ground texture. Okay. What else we have over here in Rockland? We got these little pebbles we've never used for anything. I don't even know how I have them. We have a little bit of that. Let's use that up first. These are the rocks that I use for figures. Let's not use those. I was going to buy some rocks at the store. I'm like, man, those are too expensive. That's not worth that. That's not what those things go for. Be like somebody selling something on eBay and I'm like, man, those go for a lot of money. I said, no, that's somebody trying to sell it for a lot of money. That doesn't mean they actually sold any. You're going to put a cardboard base below the cork or some other kind of support? No, I wasn't planning on it. I wasn't planning on I don't want the ends too thick. I don't want it taper to nothing, but I don't want the ends too thick. Because then you can't put guys like this. Then there'd be like too much of an angle. But I think of all the things I've done, I think the thing that I've done the most right is go to do the terrain first. Not start painting a platoon of Japanese infantry, and then I get bummed out like I don't know what to do about the terrain. I don't know why I paint these figures. I'm never going to use them in a battle. Move on to something else. No. Let's do the terrain. Let's get excited about it because of the terrain. This terrain in reality has a lot of different uses. Like I said, I can use it for gas lands. You know? All right. So, here's the tricky part. Where's the old one? And where's my spatula? Spatula oblongata. I backed myself in the damn corner over here. Spatula oblongata. Where are you? That's not the one we want to use. There's one in particular that is awesome. The other ones are kind of lackluster. You know what? We might actually use this. These came free with the knives, and I've never found a use for them. See if any of this is alive. Barely. But I really want to play gas out. I'm trying to get my brother into it. Well, the rules have all kinds of loopholes in them. And I was a member of their group, but man, there's a bunch of millennials that play that game, Generation Z type folks that they wouldn't be able to handle. I wouldn't want to handle playing the game with them. This is, we're not going to be able to get on with that. It's too thick. Too thick. Not going to throw it away just yet, but there we go. Yeah, but you can go on and look at pictures of, you can go on Google Maps, which I live on Google Maps, and go and put the picture option where people submit pictures, and go and look at somewhere in like the Philippines or something. And I mean, the Philippines, I mean, a lot of these places look a lot like the Caribbean. You know, it's like, is that Cuba? Well, it could be. So I really need to find the other one. There's a particular spatula that I like to use. Oh, this one's brutal on your fingers. There's one in particular I like to use, and it's not where it's supposed to be. Here it is. This one. This is the one that we like to use. Oh, just people that can't take jokes, man. People that can't take incorrect humor. Like, I wouldn't be able to play stuff. I mean, I'm fine with you being whatever you want, but I'm gonna make fun of everything. Like, well, you can't do that. Somebody's gonna get upset. I'm like, well, okay, well, we can't play games together. Bye bye. Okay, I think that if we just see, it looks really rough, but it won't be that rough looking. And I don't know if I can do anything with those little pebbles. We're gonna try. Yeah, I get that. It's too weird to be offended by everything. It is. I like making fun of people's differences. That doesn't mean, oh, you hate Asians or it's got nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. It's about having fun. You know, you're like making fun of my people because we're fucking loud as shit. All the time. We are. And many of our people, not my specific little small tribe, but they walk through a grocery store on speakerphone, having a conversation. You're like, dude, man, like chill the hell out, man. Give yourself some privacy. Oh, we're not all that way. Of course, people aren't all that way. Laugh about it, man. Like comedy, it's hard to find freaking I found some comedian. We found some comedians the other day who actually are pretty funny. But I mean, it's hard to find people. It's like, oh, we can't make fun of ethnic differences, so you know, so all we come up with is like this weird sexual deviancy stuff. I'm like, I don't want to hear that in humor. People who would hear Don Rickles and their head would explode. I'm like, lighten up, Francis. I don't even know what that's from. It sounds like something that would be on like Full Metal Jacket. Lighten up, Francis. Speaker stuff drives me nuts. My aunt will try and come over here and do that. Yeah, like we don't need to hear both parts of the conversation. And you can't. I can't make it out. So, like, dude, man, give yourself some privacy. So this is taking a little bit of time. I don't think that the worst part about all this is going to be having to wait for the stuff to dry. I'm going to leave the raw cork on the ends. I don't think I have to. I don't think I need to cover it. It's going to get all painted, and what we'll do is let's use technology to our advantage. Let's go ahead and take a picture of where each tree is. Right. Heat advisory. No shit. That's why I'm staying indoors all day long. Okay. Now, I'm probably going to leave the little palm tree, the little one in. It'd like being there. Maybe we'll leave the big one there too. All right. Now we can go back to where we were. As we were. I'm going to have to buy more of this stuff. I'm going to have to buy more of this stuff for... Ooh, there's a hard part in there. Yep. Speaking of impressions, you've seen Joe Coy, right? Oh man, when he does this, some of his impressions are hilarious. Him and Russell Peters are freaking hilarious with their impression. Russell Peters does some insanely good impressions. I love it. That's the kind of humor I like. You know. You take this stuff off my hands. Who'd have thought that I'd be doing this stuff this soon? I want to do something different. It's creative. I'm developing a new skill I didn't know I had. You know, some people have pioneered how to make some of this stuff look really good. I'm just walking on their coattails. Just like, some people may do on my stuff. I don't know. Figuring it all out together. Oh! And then, of course, we'll have to stop for this to, do its thing. Oh, I gotta paint Mr. Buddha guy. We gotta prime him. We got airbrush today, prime a little Buddha guy. Which, by the way, there's a 3D printed. You weren't here yesterday, but I don't know that it's cured all the way either, man. I hit this thing with a UV so many times. I got this for my buddy Marty said he got one of these things, and he's like, "Hey, how should I paint it?" And instead of me, because I'm not a writer, you're the writer, not me. I don't want to be tortured by trying to explain to somebody how to do something that I've never done before, right? Like, I'll be able to paint this, and it's going to look awesome. But I can't explain you how to do that because I've never done it before, right? And I can start seeing how it's turning out and maybe change the tack that I'm using. I can't explain that to you. Plus, it's long-winded, and I hate writing. I really do hate writing. And so I'm like, just send it to me, and I'll paint it for you. And I'll learn how to do one of these statues. And he wants to paint this like the Kakamura Buddha in Japan, which is bronze. This is stone. This is like a gray stone. This is bronze with patinaed. I said it's going to look great. But it had uncured resin in the bottom of it. It was gooey. So, and that's how this came like this. So, I'm sorry, I can't fix that. Well, the problem with the sunlight, I have a limited areas where I can leave it and it won't walk away. And it makes it sound like I live on one of those buildings in Brooklyn or something like that, where people are going to walk on the sidewalk and take it. But, I got the lawnmower man coming. I don't want it to blow away, knock this on the ground, and So the girls had a UV thing for nails, for those acrylic nails or whatever the hell they are, resin, whatever. They had a little UV thing, and I commandeered that and blasted it 5 or 6 times. So it's much better, but it was a bit like brie. But just on the underside. And I'm like, I don't know that it's solid or if it's one piece or I could drill into it, but this isn't going to take that long to paint. This will probably take maybe an hour and a half, maybe less than an hour and a half. Anyways, I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know it was going to be one of those Buddhas. It's usually a lot of the Buddhas that you could find are very jolly. The jolly Buddhas. Like, ha 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 ha! I ate all the whatever they eat there in Buddha land. I don't know, all the kimchi. You know, ha ha ha! No food for you. You know. They have this pose with like the hands open, like, all of your asses are mine now. What? Oh, nothing. What's going on in that shrine? Never mind. It's a closed door policy. Because Buddhas come in all flavors. All right. That's the palm trees that go here. The resin is really toxic before it's cured. What kind of toxic? Like if I lick it? I only licked it a few times. Oh, there's no warning on it. I get to sue somebody. Woohoo! So I went into town today and I realized there's like, our town is infested with billboards that promote, injury attorneys, ambulance chasers. Yeah, hire one of those guys. Oh, you sent this to me and you didn't warn me. It didn't have a smell. So that's nice. And actually, Chad's prints have a smell, and they smell pleasant. No, I didn't lick those either. But I don't want to get into 3D printing. That's other people's domain. Let's just cover this lightly with this. Well, we don't have the vertical feed anymore, so I don't have these people that just randomly come in. What you doing? Hey, that's how they type it. That's what it sounds like. What you doing sounds like that. What you doing, motherfucker? And I could do this a lot quicker if I needed to. But we're not here to be rushed. We're here to be wowed. We're going to be like, damn, I should have done this 10 years ago. Kind of thing. And the sooner I finish this, the sooner we can name the island. Yeah. It's an infestation. It's an infestation. We're going to make one of these. We'll find out if cork's the way to go. If not, we have a way to pull the palms, do something else. This is pretty low cost. I'm really enjoying doing this. This may not be dry today because it's a bit thick in some places. We're going to try to thin it out as we go, but I'm thrilled with these little plastic plants, giving them a wash. So I may wash a few more just before I quit, just so that when we do the next step, we'll have some of this stuff on here. I don't remember what he used to seal it in this video because I got the idea from from the use the cork from this one guy on the one video. I would have never used cork. I would have used those little MDF things, but I like the cork idea. And I found some cork that wasn't too prohibitively expensive, because cork's very expensive here in the United States. One of the popular ones, a guy who calls himself the Texas Hammer. Yeah, we have enough litigious stuff in this society already. But you want me to tune out about something? Say something that involves a court case or a lawsuit, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm like, I'd rather go watch Needlepoint. Or a subpoena. Ah, get me out of here! Yeah, it's probably hot as hell where you're at, too. You got like Florida weather with like the dust. And I bet you get a lot of dust where you're at. Like when I went to Houston, I'm like, man, what is this haze? A bass is pretty heavy. Bass really is pretty heavy. Switch back to landscape mode. Yeah. So what happened is I was doing vertical to get extra people to find the site. You know, I don't want people coming by and asking, giving me $100 to eat a cockroach. I'm talking about, you know, like some folks that are like, hey, I didn't know you did the hey, I'm into, you know, so it gets suggested to other people. And those suggestions stop. I think there was something that YouTube did for like a month or two that it was pushing these things out, suggesting them as reels. And I think that stopped. Because you could tell, I mean, literally was the difference between 30 people watching a video or 30 people coming by or 700 people coming by. I mean, it was dramatic. It was more than tenfold. So I'm like, you know, even if I just get one new person a day that sees it that normally would not have seen it, like, you know, that's moving in the right direction. And it just kind of like just all petered out. But, you know, cork is a happy thing to look at. I like looking at cork. And it seems like I'm using a lot of bits. Now, I left kind of flat spots in here because we do need, you know, places for these little guys to go and hang out in. I'm not gonna worry about that hole in. We can find that later. Yeah, that's too much. I don't think I even need any. Let's just use what we have. But I do need to order another one of these because I didn't buy anything on Prime. Didn't seem like it was on the Prime sales. Didn't seem like anything was on sale. You know, it's actually been moderate for Texas weather lately. At night, I can work in the garage with a fan comfortably. You know, I did that the other day. I think it was the morning or whatever, and I went out there with a fan. I got to have the fan if I'm airbrushing. Just, I like air circulation anyways, and it's a good idea to have all that stuff blow away from you, even though I'm really not using very much paint at all. I think I can unplug this thing now. But Yeah, I didn't get all sweaty and shit out there. Now, I'm going to do something that I don't know that I'm going to repeat it, but we'll do it just this once. And that is use this little gravel stuff. I don't know that this is that useful. I am going to go ahead and put this on a tray or something where I can recoup some of them. Recoup some of this mess. Just so there's a variety of different stuff on here. I mean, I don't need to go crazy, but... Alright, I had... Oh, that's over there. Okay. Well, that's a shame, because that's exactly what I want to use. But we're going to use it anyways. And then we went by Hobby Lobby yesterday and picking up the cork. And I'm like, well, let me get some of these plants. I don't know if I'm going to even use them. Not to use as a whole thing, but to use little sprigs. Definitely some Asian-looking thorny fuckers. Definitely. Actually, they actually look really, really nice. And then same thing with these. And same thing with this little ball. You can pull these little things out and they're like little plants. Look really good. Whoop. So let's pull like, and I'm not gonna wash these. Fuck it. Like living on the edge. I'm gonna pull out 5 of those. Okay. That we're gonna keep. That's like $4 for that whole thing. Oh, well, the whole thing was to get this box. All right. Now with this box from Tamiya. I hate to say it, but I really like the way this looks. Okay, we didn't use very much and we didn't waste very much. Just some different granules there. And when you said you switched to landscape mode, I was thinking like, yeah, we're making terrain. That too. All right, how are we going to attach these things so they stay put while I'm painting them? Maybe stick them will work. Where'd my stick 'em go to? Probably on the table. That's a model making supply. Yep. All right, so we got that. And I can put it on this cork. Let's see how. It's smaller than that. Something I noticed from the Philippines is how green the plants are. It might not be the same in Florida, but in Texas it can get really brown here during the droughts. Yeah, it's the humidity, I think. One thing I noticed, and I actually like the humidity. I mean, it makes it hotter, but it also makes you less thirsty. Like I can't handle when it's dry. But one thing I've noticed is even when it's not even hot, you go outside and you end up smelling horrible from the humidity. Like if you go outside for just a little bit, you get this stink on you. It smells like a shrimp. Like you left like some shrimp salad out in the sun. And my wife calls it a sun smell. I call it a stinky shrimp kid smell. That's what it smells like. And I bet it's a factor of the humidity. I bet in the Philippines the same thing happens to you. Philippines, a land of mopeds. There's lots of places that are a land of mopeds, but Southeast. Is the Philippines Southeast Asia? I would say yes and no. Okay, so we got these little sprigs here. All right, and we're going to grab some more of these plants, which I have a shit ton of. And between that and actual like tufts in there, this should look pretty awesome. It should look pretty awesome. And this is the test version 1 of it. And I think we're gonna nail it. Where did I put those little guys? Oh, back here. All right, let's grab, we have tons of these. So let's grab 1, 2, 3 of those. We're just going to do 1 red plant. We'll grab 2 more of these. And if I use this, I'm happy to buy more. I'm happy to buy more. What did we use this? Let's take a piece of this. There's a shitload of styrofoam at work. Like of this, like just that gets not used, or they use part of it and some of it gets disposed of. All right, how far did I go? Because I like whatever I did here. All right, I cut some of it off so it wouldn't stick out the bottom. All right, and these have already been washed in detergent. Sometimes they don't want to fit in there well. Filipinos have a trick for that smell. What is it? You know what I'm talking about. It's a really unpleasant smell. And it does go away. I don't know whether it's the sweat. I think your body absorbs. I don't know what it is. But it's really unpleasant. Yeah, and I think it's a factor of the humidity. Because I'd spend all day outside when we went to Colorado or Utah or something like that. You wouldn't smell it at all on you. Yeah, and this is the same plants. So this is like, man, this is doing green. And then you give it the brown wash. I haven't even done anything to it. So I'm probably going to mount them like this and then paint them after they're on the stand. You know. And we're going to need to buy stock and strong tone. But I've already said that several times before. Yeah, in the Philippines, it's definitely greener. It's hotter than Florida. It's more tropical than Florida. I just hate how hot it gets at night. For no reason whatsoever. And buggy. Nope. Not that one. Cheap ass brush. Nope. No, sir, you will not do. Baby powder. Before going out, they rub baby powder on themselves, so when they do sweat, it's soaked up by the baby powder and doesn't smell. So is it the sweat? Is it the sweat on you that smells? I mean, it's not your armpits. Armpits smell good all day long. Man, what's that smell? It smells great in here. It's Tony's armpits. Oh, man. Can I get some more of that? Baby powder. You know, baby powder has no smell because the smell of powder. I hate the smell of powder. Makes you want to punch a baby, an ugly one. You know, not a good looking baby. Come on, think about it. No babies are ugly. I beg to differ. Right, get a rise out of you people. I found out the other day. I'm like that. The company that makes War Thunder and what else do they make? They make Enlisted. They're called Kaigun or whatever, and it means foreigner. I'm like, and they're not even Asian. They're Hungarian or something. Although technically the Huns are Asians, but this looks like an artichoke of unusual size. Yeah, I didn't know either. I did not. I just found that out recently. I'm supposed to meet at noon. There's a guy that I know. I've known him a long time. One of our gamers. He's really into it. And I'm like, all right, well, you're gonna have to walk me through it because I'm having trouble with the interface. And I've played World of Warships a lot, and between that and that cards game, which is basically Magic the Gathering for World War II, there's beautiful artwork in it, though. That's actually one of the big reasons I'm doing the Pacific is the artwork from cards. I don't play those free games and spend a dime. Like that's like people have a gambling problem. I don't have a gambling problem. My addiction's food. And not necessarily even food that's bad for me, but just a lot of it. I like to eat. That's it. Basically, don't drink alcohol. Again, we ended up playing a whole game of dominoes yesterday. Didn't even have a drink. Didn't occur to me. So if you need a liver transplant, I may be your guy. Unless Coke destroys your card. It's called Cards. It's Well, here's one of the artwork from it. Actually, the artwork that I have on my Facebook page is from that. Let me show this. You might get a kick out of this. Let's see. Now let me turn this sideways. Why don't we let me turn it sideways? All right, so this is the artwork from the game, and some of it is box art. Sometimes it's propaganda posters. Cards with a K, yeah. It's got beautiful artwork. Beautiful artwork. Here's another one. It's like something you would. It's just nostalgic, you know. Like, oh, let me get those toy soldiers. They come in a box that has that. A lot of it is like some real nice oil painting type of. There he is. There's my lawnmower man. I would have started earlier than 10. Oil that thing. Yeah, I've been playing that cards game. It's a bit too addictive, but I can stop at any moment. Only thing I hate about that cards game is there's a lot of Asian players. Oh, you don't like Asians? No, that's not the problem. I don't like playing somebody. Well, I don't know what the fuck their name is because they're not using Western characters. You know, can we all agree to use Western characters, please? You know, either that or we're taking our numbers away from you. I don't care if people are from Asia. I just don't know what the hell the guy's name is. Assuming it's a guy, probably is. So I'd say 75% of the players, maybe even more than 75%, have Asian characters in their handle. I don't know who the hell it is. It's on your phone, yeah. It's free. Yeah, it's the artwork is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and you can play it for free. It's it's Magic the Gathering. What's the one that Blizzard did? Hearthstone. It's the same thing, except the cards look really really pretty, and they're all like box art from like toy soldiers, propaganda posters, individual type things. They all look really 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 good. That's stupid, but that's the main reason I'm playing it. Is it looks really good, beautiful, just beautiful stuff. Yeah, and some people, I had some guy that came by yesterday, and he decided. So what was my post? Said this guy enjoyed World War II a little too much. So I did a little snapshot of what his handle was. His handle was Heil mein Führer. I'm like, okay. We actually had him come. We actually had remember we had Adolf Hitler come by one time. I don't know how he got away with Google, but that was his sign-in. And a little picture of the mustachioed dictator too. He came in as Adolf Hitler. Is it easy to learn? Absolutely. Yeah, it's just enjoy it for the artwork. Yeah, play all the intro stuff. It's just something to do. It's like, man, I'm waiting for something. All right, let me start this card game. Yeah. It's just something to do. You don't have to spend any money. I'm certainly not going to. Almost all the artwork is exquisitely attractive. And I think you can play it on the computer as well. But that's the reason I'm playing World of Warships. World of Warships is like hokey from the standpoint of actual realism and stuff like that. It's really nice to look at, and it keeps me from painting ships. Because, dude, I'm a ship guy. That way I'm like, I'm not buying any of these 700 scale ships. But what was the Japanese? I was playing something, and I'm like, man, this ship has a really beautiful paint scheme and it's camouflage scheme. It was a Japanese ship, and the Japanese really didn't use camouflage until like 1944, and then not really that common. And when they did, it was like greens and stuff. Some of the aircraft carriers had them or whatever. But what was I using? I was using Aoba or something like that. Japanese heavy cruiser Aoba, and it was really pretty camouflage looking. This keeps me from building warships. What was I using the other day that was really enjoy using? I think it's a make-believe light cruiser. It's a light cruiser that they didn't build for the Japanese called, not the Oyoto, it was before the Oyoto. I can't remember what it is. But it's got some 6-inch, and I don't mind with the fictitious ships because they're ships that just never got built, but they were on the design board, and they all have weaknesses, but. So I actually don't mind the fictitious ships. The fictitious ships actually bother me less than the fictitious tanks, but tanks without infantry is like, why even bother doing it? I could do ships without. What was the name? What's the name of that? What is the name of that light cruiser? Anyway, she's basically like a Nagano, a modified Agano. Agano with another set of turrets. It's got 8 6-inch guns and instead of 8 tubes or 4 tubes, I forget what it is. It's got some long lance torpedoes on it. Man, gain more patience. I can enjoy the ships one day. Yeah. But all those games that are like you can pay money to play, it doesn't make any sense because let's say you're made of money, okay, and you could just like, I want to buy Yamato right off the bat. I don't know if you could do that, but I'm gonna buy a big super battleship right off the bat. If you and as you progress and get a better ship, your enemies get a lot more difficult. So what are you really gaining? I mean, unless it's something that you want to play a certain ship, you know, your opponents are that much more difficult also. So all right, this is driving me crazy. I got to figure out what ship this is. World of Warships, and it was one that I ended up getting from like a crate or something that I opened. World of Warships, Japanese cruisers. Images. I've never seen Kitakami. Kitakami has 20 torpedo tubes. Okay. Anyways, that's a camouflage scheme. Thing's beautiful. But again, I'm a ship guy, so I'm not going to learn my history from that. So yeah, there's all kinds of things that are wrong with it, but I'm not going to fall for it. I don't remember what the hell it is. Anyways, it's cool. Anyways, another notes, if you have a Hobby Lobby and you're looking for an airbrush, the airbrush I use is 50% off. Like, that's a steal. That's like a steal. It is an Iwata. Of course, it's Japanese. I like Japanese shit. Iwata HP-CS. And it's normally about $150, and it's half off at Hobby Lobby. So I figure I'm passing that on to everybody. And I was unsure that I needed that that it did enough detail stuff for me, but it's me just not knowing how to use it. I go watch a video on people doing stuff with that airbrush. You don't need one that's more fine detailed than that. Like you could do some really thin lines. Of course, you got to practice to and thin your paint and do all that stuff to do that. I'm not there yet, but I saw pros use it, and I'm like, okay, the airbrush can obviously do it. It's like if you get a stick shift car and the guy can drive it a certain way, you're like, man, that guy's awesome. But you don't know how to drive a stick shift? Like, okay, well, the car can do it. Now you just need to be able to be trained enough to do that kind of thing. So I had heard a couple of months ago that Hobby Lobby was going to discontinue all their Iwata products. They sell like shitty things, and I guess the shitty things sell. People are like, let me just spend $30 on an airbrush. Well, you're paying $30 for a host of problems. You're going to be tortured. You're going to be like, man, why doesn't this look good? All these problems. So you're basically like, you're not going to be happy with the results, and you have to fight it. Don't buy a piece of shit airbrush. You're better off not buying one. And you don't have to have an airbrush. The only reason I got one was because I was tired of dealing with rattle cans. And I'm never going to be great with an airbrush. I'm not an airbrush guy. Is that my phone buzzing or no? That's the guy with a weed whacker. Man, but an airbrush allows you to prime and stuff and not use toxic shit. You can seal and not do toxic shit. I'm like, it's a blessing from that standpoint. Ask. So I posted that on there, and somebody said, yeah, they didn't do on there. Ask, and they'll discount it. That's what one guy said. That's a great price. And then all you need is just you can get a generic compressor with a tank, and you're good to go. So I spent like $150 for the airbrush and $150 for the tank. Now, the tank that I got, the compressor that I got, came with a free Masters airbrush, which is anything but a Masters. So I start using it, and I'm like, this airbrush is not very good, or I don't know what I'm doing. So I've done it enough that I know what I'm doing now with airbrushes, and I can't get those airbrushes to work. Some of them have so many flaws in them that they just don't work properly. One of the important things about the airbrush is that you have the airflow correct. Like, it needs to be a tight seal, or it doesn't work properly. So that all the air pressure is being directed in the correct direction, kind of thing. So if you have a leak or a problem with say a needle that has a burr in it that doesn't keep everything like all tight and working, it's almost kind of like a garden hose. If you've got that, except that it's finicky. A garden hose will still spit out water even though you've got it like hooked up to the wall and it's spraying everything out of the wall, right? Because you got a bad O-ring or something like that. Like, literally everything has to be sealed up for it to work properly, or it's not going to work correctly. I had no idea that they were that like finicky. But between that and the Karam magic formula, airbrushing has been like a breeze. And anything you airbrush, man, it dries like super fast. You prime something, like it's dry in seconds. You're adding very little. You're adding very little paint. All right, so these weeds are good to go, and they may need a little bit of a dry brushing on there, but we're not doing that until they're actually on the stand. So we've got some plants here. Oh, don't fall down, you slacker. Okay, we got some plants here. We have some other plants here. We have the original ones we did. This is drying. We also have other tufted colors that we've never used before. I specifically got for the Pacific, in particular, these thorny fuckers, whatever they're called, spiky green. So, fun times ahead. Fun times ahead. I think we got all this brown wash on everything. I use this a lot, but man, it really does go a long way. Okay, folks. So that's where we're gonna stop. We'll circle back maybe in the afternoon. I'm not sure, and maybe we'll have something to. I'm probably not going to be able to do anything with that. It's just got too much goop on it. That's probably not going to be able to mess with it until like tomorrow evening or something like that. But we'll do our one test on it and see how it works. See if we're happy with it,